Welcome to the show. This is Veterans Day, and I am just thrilled to be here with you and to introduce you to Ric Maddox. You like to go by Rick.
Yes, ma'am.
And Rick is the owner of Tex Vet Trees. And we want to talk about your business, but first, happy Veterans Day
Thank you.
to you today.
Thank you.
And let's start off with you telling me a little bit about your service in the military. What kind of led you to that part of your life?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking, Ann. Yeah, I think it was something that, good old like American Little League, right? As a boy, I would see the older World War II veterans kind of, stand up and we'd say the Pledge of Allegiance and, Star Spangled Banner, and they'd get up and get to their feet, and there was just this swell of pride in them. And I remember seeing that, and even as a boy, I remember I'd get like misty, as a boy, and just kind of wanted to be a part of that, and love America, still do. And it's just something that I wanted to serve. And then my stepdad, who had raised me, was a veteran as well, and he was just a wonderful man, is a wonderful man, and just I was inspired to join. So once I went through the typical, high school football and Texas stuff, I decided to join 11 days after. I was shipped off to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia.
So this is the Army?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, Army infantry. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. So yeah, I joined the infantry because I don't know, I wanted to be the guy that fast ropes out of the helicopter and does all the kind of hua hua stuff. And yeah, and it was awesome. It was awesome, amazing, great time, dangerous, learned a lot. Went all over the place, stationed in Fort Carson.
Hmm.
So that was a Texas kid being around the Colorado mountains and learning how to snowboard and all the other things. It
Fun.
was cold. It's very cold, very
Yeah.
cold.
Oh, yeah. For your thin Texas blood. Yeah, I guess
That's
that's
right.
true.
That's right. Yeah, so that was really part of my journey. And then, yeah, I think just learning values. I think being a kid away from home for the first time.
Hmm.
I didn't go the traditional kind of college route that kind of came later. I just kind of, they had this slogan in the Army at the time, like Army, get an edge on life. And I really felt like that was kind of what it was. I learned to be alone, get a checkbook, balance a checkbook. I mean, I don't think we do that anymore, but,
You got to do some adulting.
adulting. Yes. I got to do some adulting and, washing my own clothes and I don't know, just doing my own stuff. And it was really nice to kind of have that feel. And then be in the barracks with the other guys and just kind of really partying together, fighting together, doing everything together and forming that bond. Like that is really special. Just that bond you get with your other guys that you don't quite get anywhere else,
Yeah.
you
You
know.
still keep up with some of those
I
men?
do. Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to a buddy of mine that's, he's now a sheriff in Arizona, and we just go back to the funny times and pulling pranks and doing stupid stuff, talking about some of the serious stuff and some of the comedy stuff, just keeping it. I mean, you have to keep it light. You got to find a way to kind of get through it.
So what deployments did you?
So I was actually part of something called Intrinsic Action 96.3. So where we came into Camp Doha, and from Camp Doha we went out to basically be a patrol unit across the southern Iraq border to protect
Mm,
anything coming back into Kuwait. So it was just a lot of mainly checkpoints and just kind of checking vehicles coming in and out. And really just doing a couple of patrols. We did a couple of really cool Black Hawk missions. But it wasn't, I'm very thankful it wasn't something as heavy as like, what you see in like Korengal Valley and some of the guys that went through some of that stuff. Like I did not go through that, and I'm very thankful I did
mhm.
not, because even with the limited amount of stuff that we did, I still had a hard time struggling kind of demilitarizing myself and trying to become a civilian again, which I don't think I've quite become. I just always had that kind of soldier mentality, and I still do. And it was kind of I think what I loved about being on post when I was actually back stateside is 1700 hit, and no matter where you were, everyone stopped and got out of the car, and they would be lowering the flag, and everyone would kind of tighten up in its in attention, right face or face post, and everyone would just render a salute, and
Mhm.
just in the middle of traffic, everyone got out and did it, and I just loved that so much. Um, and it was hard coming out of that into the world. And at the time, I think it was just starting to kind of like the whole burning of the flag and all that stuff started to kind of kick around. And it was really just like it was such a contrast
Hmm.
coming from that wonderful world to this, and having as a soldier, and I had my badges. I had like my, my expert infantry badge. I had all my
It's like your
badges.
resume is right there
Pretty much. It
on
was
your
like
chest.
anytime you walked to anyone, you had a resume on there where
And they knew
someone
immediately.
immediately knew, like,
Yeah,
oh, hey, what's up, high speed? What's up, Mad Dog? Mad Dog just, my name is Maddox, but Mad Dog became like a thing.
I can see that.
And it just, yeah, it was something where you were instantly kind of connected, accepted, worked hard, pulled together, camaraderie, unity, worked hard, play hard, all of that. And it was really hard transitioning, I think, out of that into, I remember my first job was like washing dishes, and I just knew I needed a job because I was just like crazy depressed and just trying to, isolated, trying to figure it out.
Because your life had changed so dramatically, or what do you think?
Well,
What
well,
was the
well,
depression
yes,
stemming
yeah.
from?
It would have been, I think, just probably yeah, a culture shock in a sense,
Yeah,
reverting back to, oh wow,
I guess you could kind of identify a little bit with the Vietnam vets who came
well,
back, and then were spat upon. I mean,
yeah.
that's
There's
got to
so
have been
yeah,
horrific.
that it is horrific, and I have it's interesting because I had heard so many stories about that and misinformation about that until I actually saw veterans and talked with them and met with them
Hmm.
and started to do the research and found out, oh no, they indeed were spit on. Medals were pulled off of them as they got home. I mean, it was. It still burns me up. There's actually a play, a really good play. It's the longest running play in Los Angeles called Welcome Home Soldier. It's been running for 25 years, and I was a part of that play. Um, Wonderful play, and it talks about all of this. And real
Hmm.
Vietnam veterans show up, they sit in the audience, and they still tear up to this day because some of them said, I just wanted to come home and hug my mom, and I got spit upon and things pulled off me, and from people who had no idea or concept of what I went through. So it's, but comparing myself to Vietnam veterans, I that's a little challenging because that was such a different. It was the warfare was different,
Yeah,
completely different.
completely different.
You
Yeah,
had,
you were in the desert as opposed to a jungle.
right, the jungle. Like, I mean, we had IEDs and stuff, but these guys had the bamboo shoots. They had these traps everywhere. They had all kinds of traps. They had the trails. Like there was a Ho Chi Minh trails. There's just this whole. I've done a little like digging into, just because I'm just fascinated by Vietnam and Vietnam veterans in general, and I think one of the most challenging things from the outside perspective, even as a soldier, is seeing how they were commanded to take a hill. They would take the hill and then get the call like, "Hey, fall back," after they've lost half their platoon. And I can't imagine, for me, I can't even imagine what that would have done to me psychologically. Like that I, there would have been so much confusion, anger, frustration. So where the soldiers became political footballs to get kicked around. It's a very obviously controversial topic, but
Hmm.
yeah, I my hat's off to the Vietnam veterans and what they went through, and just everything from the Tet Offensive in '68 onward, just so much. Yeah, which is coincidentally why I have Vietnam veteran friends, older guys that mentor and kind of, I get to walk alongside,
Yeah,
which is really nice.
yeah. Well, you touched on your transition back to civilian life, and that it was not a
Mhm.
cakewalk. So, how did that lead to starting Tex Vet Trees?
Well, interesting enough, I always, as a kid, I always like to get up in trees, like way up in trees, so high that my mom would be like, "Rick, hey, can you come down before I have a heart attack?" I would just get up. I just loved climbing up in trees, and I didn't know that that would become something I would start to do. I have a farm out in Golson, and there were some farmers that had trees that had come down, and I just said, "I'll help you," and came out there with a chainsaw and climbed up and started trimming trees, and they
Hmm.
started giving me money, and they said, you're pretty good at this. You're actually better than some of the people I've hired to do this." So that was something that kind of percolated a bit, and like all things, I just give it up to God and I just pray, like,
Yeah,
Lord, is this something you want
you
me to
opening
do?
this door, you know.
Yeah, and it's really simple. Like one of my pastors was part of a church in California, wonderful church in California, and Pastor Scott used to always tell me, he said, "Well, just why don't you do it, and God's either going to bless it or He's not. Why
Yeah.
don't you see what God does?" So I thought Tex Vet, I thought Texas veteran, Tex Vet Trees, and it just kind of came to me. 3 a.m. I just woke up. I'm like, Tex Vet Trees, Tex Vet. That's it. And I just kind of went, and we just started getting clients, and it
Hmm.
just kind of really, it just happened pretty quickly.
How long ago?
So officially with TextFed a little over 2.5 years
Okay.
ago. But before that, we were doing things kind of off on the side here and there. But officially,
Hmm.
you know,
Incorporated and all
and
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
all that about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it really it's interesting because my background, I have a background in business development and a background in nonprofit executive leadership. So I was dealing with high end donors, and I was dealing with board members, forming boards, building boards, setting board requirements, all of this stuff. And so I came from that kind of corporate background.
Hmm.
And then coming into this, applying this, I didn't know that it would translate so well, where I could just start to build it start to literally build my business. And we just bought another huge chipper truck Friday.
Yeah.
We brought down from Dallas. Yeah. So we're growing. We're growing faster than I can keep up with. So if you're a
Well,
veteran and want to get hired, please reach out to
I
me.
was going to
Yeah.
say that sounds good though. That's a good problem to have. So let's talk about your veterans. You do have veterans who work for you.
Yes, ma'am. So one comes to mind, a Marine Corps guy named Joel's. He's a very, very tough kid. The first day out,
Marines tend to be that way.
I'm telling you, first time yeah, it's funny. I'm Army, but I hire a bunch of Marine guys. It's funny, right? Uh, but then I do got an Air Force guy that I'm supposed to interview. So
Okay,
I'm
you're equal opportunity
equal
when it
opportunity.
comes to the military branches.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And when you get a Coast Guard guy, let me know.
Yeah, right. Seriously. I almost joined the Coast Guard, by the way. Almost
I mean
went there.
that
Yeah.
sounds like a fun branch to work for,
So
frankly.
this recruiter, his name was Kevin,
Hmm.
and he refused for me to call him Sergeant. This is right when I got out. I was looking to go back into something a little bit less intense,
Yeah,
than what I was
yeah.
in. And he said, "Call me Kevin, man." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, Kevin." He's like, "Hey, man, we're the Coast Guard. We're the best kept secret in the military." I'm like, "Apparently,
I
apparently."
love it.
So yeah, he shared some really crazy stories, just fun stuff. But
Yeah.
anyway, so Joel's first day he was on 80-pound log sitting there, and I'm thinking like, I'm thinking like maybe the kid's gonna split it in half or something. Nope. Picks it up, throws it over, walks it over, throws it in the big dump truck, and I'm like, okay,
Okay.
he's gonna work out. He's gonna be fine. Yeah, he's gonna be fine. But he just, yeah, well, it's just it's, it's not easy. It's
Well, and
not.
it's somewhat dangerous too. I mean, you have to have training.
You do, yeah. You definitely have to. I mean, knowing your cuts and knowing how to cut, knowing
Sure.
how to rope, how to harness, all of that stuff is super important. It can go south very fast.
Yeah.
It can go bad very
Okay.
fast, and in
Mhm.
some cases, deadly. So
Mhm.
it's really obviously following OSHA standards and really making sure that headgear, eyewear, everything. And for sometimes people wear for sensitivity.
Because of the
Yeah,
loud
because
noise.
of the loudness of the chainsaws and the machinery. But yeah, it's just really. I tell my guys all the time, like, do not rush, do not rush.
Right.
When in doubt, slow down, examine everything, make sure it's 100% roped off, and pull it into like everything's triple check. Big about triple checking, because that is like I don't burn my guys too hard to finish up to get to the next job.
Hmm.
I'm okay taking a couple days and just relaxing, taking breaks, staying hydrated. I tell my guys this all the time. I want to be the boss that everyone in town is dying to work for.
Yeah.
Like the guy that's like, oh, Rick, he takes us out, happy hour, and we get steaks on Friday, that kind of thing.
Yay.
So it's
Yeah.
company culture is huge. It's massive, I think. And for someone like myself, that I have had some terrible bosses, some really bad bosses. I like to try to, be sensitive to what's going on in their life. If they're like, hey, kid's got asthma, I got to take him to the hospital. I'm like, go for it. Like,
Hmm.
don't family first, take care of your
Hmm.
family,
Oh
and then
yeah.
we'll figure it out. So just had a situation like that on Friday where, a guy had to take care of his wife, and I'm like, he was really like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, you're good. Just take care of that.
Family first. Yeah.
Yeah. Take care of
Yeah.
that. Keep me posted. And then and I do have an alternate list. So I have developed a list of
Hmm.
guys where I can call someone who's hungry to get in and say, hey, David, you're up. Really? Yeah. Get over here.
Put me in, coach.
That's it. Put me in, coach. So I developed that really healthy list.
Yeah,
So,
I love it. There's so much more I want to talk to you about tree as a tree man, if you will. But there is more of the show ahead, so you stay with us. A big thank you to our sponsor, Fox & Co. Bakery. Check them out for delicious baked goods and your catering needs.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone anywhere. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
And I'm back with Ric Maddox with Tex Vet Trees, and we've been talking about the veterans that you have employed to work with you, and what are you seeing as far as tree issues? Is there a particular thing that homeowners need to know when it comes to tree care?
That's a fantastic question, Ann. Yes. Let me start with the first part of that, which is, am I seeing anything in particular with trees in Texas? I think right now, and I think there's probably several arborists in town that would agree, the snowmageddon that we had,
Oh yeah.
followed by the extreme drought that we
Mhm.
had, was like a double gut punch to
Yeah.
the trees,
Yeah.
which is why there's been so much unbelievable tree damage, unfortunately, and
Mhm.
trees that are just like they're done. If most people don't know, oh, I should probably lay out, a hose and away from the, away from the trunk and the drip line, and just soak it really slow and really get the ground wet, once to at least twice a week to kind of give that, give the tree a drink, so to speak. Most people don't do that. And I can tell because as I drive around, I see so many trees that are absolutely like water deprived. And if
Mhm.
it's not because it's surrounded by a sidewalk, a paved road and a driveway, then a house. I mean, they've just kind of taken away a lot of that natural drip line.
Mhm.
So it's just forced to get this little amount of water through this little section. So um, I'd say that's probably one of the big things, that some of that, if you didn't catch up with it by now, then you're going to know about it soon with trees that
Mhm.
are cracking, especially when it gets arid and dry like this time of year. Um, Really not the right time. So for people to know about trees, like, you really don't want to be trimming trees in the super heat, the hottest time of the year when it's super dry. That's not a good time to be trimming trees. So I always tell my clients that, like, you don't want to be trimming at this time, but we can schedule it later into the fall when trees kind of go a bit more dormant.
Mhm.
With oaks, there's beautiful oaks out here that, we want to protect
Yeah.
and we want to keep alive. But oak wilt is something, there's no cure for it. And its season runs from February to June,
Yeah.
which is the time you want to cut, not during that season. You want to be cutting close to now up until late January. So to treat any oak wilt, and that is something that should be treated immediately. Like, you
Mhm.
have to take it away because it's a transmittable disease, and it will go and spread to your other oaks. So
Yeah, if
it's
you drive out west towards San Saba, they're just
ah
huge swaths
yeah,
of beautiful live oaks that are just gone. They're
gone.
toast.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
also and it's super arid out there as well.
Oh yeah.
So you have that.
Well, how can someone know if a tree maybe is salvageable or it needs to just come down?
Well, I would say, call us.
Yeah,
we
yeah, you
we
need
off,
you may need to
we
talk
offer
to an
free,
expert. Yeah.
we offer free consultations.
Hmm.
We deeply, deeply care about trees. I think one of the reasons we've been busier is because we'll come out to a client and they might have had a few bids to say take down the tree, and I'll look at the tree and say, this tree doesn't need to come down. And they look at me and I said, oh, really? I said, no, it doesn't. Okay, it's a little thirsty. We need to get some water on it. It looks a little iron deficient, but other than that, we can tune this tree up and let's see how it does into the next season. So do I get a big payout on that? No. But what I do is I gain loyalty with the client, and also not only for the trees, but if I can improve their trees, most likely we can do their landscaping or anything else that they want to do as well. So I mean, the reason is it's not so much the increase in business, which praise God, we're growing faster than we can handle, but it's really, it's protecting the trees. If there's one thing that the reason I got into this, and I didn't share this earlier, was I had someone come out to my farm and they did what's called topping, and they topped my tree. And I kind of thought,
you see it around town, around power lines, and I understand you have to protect the power lines, but oh my word, trees have been just
you might as well take the tree down. I mean, when you top it that much, you're only supposed to reduce the tree about 25%. So when you look at a tree and you're trimming the canopy of the tree, you don't want to scale those things so far back. There's like 50% of it's gone.
V cut in the middle.
Oh,
horrible.
it's horrible. And then and I see it a lot. Unfortunately, it's painful, and it's one of those things where you want to educate your client as much as you can, and hopefully they get to educate themselves on trees. But it's just something that we're in it to save trees. That's our MO, and that's what we, looking at all the trees. These trees, you can't replace an 80-year-old, 90-year-old, 200-year-old oak tree. You just can't.
Yeah.
So, and the equivalent of the equity of how much that tree would cost you, even $7,000 just for a 4 or 5 inch tree by 20 feet. Think about how much that equity is when you have a 4-foot wide pecan tree that's been there 200 years.
Oh, beautiful trees.
Like $300,000 tree. So it's like, what I think for me as an arborist, what boggles my mind is, you'll put money into your house, but if you have a 300-year-old rare, beautiful pecan tree, my goodness, invest some money in to protect it and make sure there's, no borers, no carpenter ants, no pests, make sure there's good mulch around the drip line, like really to retain the moisture in the tree. Like it's just, I hope there can be more awareness about that.
Yeah. Plus you get some delicious pecans out of the deal.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure. Are there some tree care myths that people need to have cleared up?
I think, yes, there's a few. I think the idea of, trees, that tree just self-prunes.
What?
Yeah, it's sure. Yeah, a pecan can self-prune in a sense, maybe naturally, but trees don't just tree. They don't just naturally tree. You have to take care of them. You have to, they just like the way we as we grow older, we need vitamins, we need nutrients, we need more hydration. Same thing with trees. So they don't just you have to prune them. And it's not like we get a lot of clients that want to just scale it back. Like, I don't care, cut it back really far because they don't want to.
Right.
We can do that, but then you're going to risk, your tree over time. So it's trimming is a big thing to increase circulation in the tree, getting rid of some of the dead parts of the tree, and really just getting that nice canopy is
and
really
if branches
important.
rub against each other or whatever, it
Well,
can
also
cause damage
yes, we also see a lot of deformed growth for someone who does an improper cut, where you'll see an improper cut and you'll see 10 to 15 branches just kind of all sprawled out over the tree, and it's like, gosh, that's we see a lot of that. So I think that's one of the myths is that's one, and then a second one would be when you do the mulch around the tree, don't kind of ram it up next to the trunk, like almost volcano it. Don't do that, because you're going to give it an opportunity to grow any kind of like fungi and any kind of things underneath it and trap that moisture. You want to get it away from the tree.
So you see kind of a ring, sort of mulch around.
Way out from it, so you can really get it around the drip line. And to follow your drip line, you just have to look at the tree where it has all the leaves that are pointing down. That's where all your stuff is going to your water's going to drip down. That's your drip line. So you want to have it kind of out around there.
So that's what that means. The drip line.
The drip line, yes.
That.
Yes, you want to have it on the outside. And also when we do tree fertilization, spikes, we follow that drip line and really give that some nice chemicals to put on the outside of it to really feed it. So
okay, so here in Central Texas, crepe myrtles are just beautiful.
Beautiful.
your thoughts on crepe murder?
I listen, a red rocket or a Miss Francis crepe myrtle, beautiful, bright, vibrant reds. I mean, you can't go wrong. What's great about crepes is they're almost resistant. You can put them
Yeah,
in, give them just a little bit, and with a crepe myrtle, a little bit goes a long way.
yeah,
And they're
yeah.
beautiful if you space them out enough. We just at our farm, we just planted for our ranch entrance. We have the horses to the left when you come in, and we just went down and planted crepe myrtles all the way up that drive, and there are so much.
Yeah.
They're affordable, they're easy to plant, they're easy to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of clients that say, "Oh, I want something beautiful on the outside of the house." And I'll tell them, "Have you thought about some crepes?" Because those are easy to grow. They, as long as you're kind of getting some water on them, giving them just a little bit of water, they really take off. They're easy to trim, they're easy to maintain, and they don't get to where they become a nuisance,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah, I don't think you heard me. Crepe murder.
you said crepe murder?
Uh-huh.
You don't like crepe myrtles?
No, I like crepe myrtles, but when you trim them, when you just really whack them back, I've always heard that that's called crepe murder.
Oh gosh,
And the
yes.
way
Sorry,
you
totally missed that. Yes.
I didn't think
Well,
you caught
that went right over my head. Sorry. Sorry.
you're a tree trimmer, so give me your thoughts on crepe murder.
So crepe murder. Yes. Well, unfortunately, yeah, down where there's a classical school right here down the way that we just saw crepe murder.
Oh,
And let me tell you, it was a homicide case. It was like the yellow tape, and like the tree was like the chalk
oh,
around the tree that had died. No, I'm
too
kidding.
bad.
No, I don't know which company in hire, but basically they topped them. I mean,
Yeah,
severely topped them. And my wife had said, my wife is British, so lovely British voice.
that's right.
She's like, sweetheart, they've completely butchered, they've absolutely murdered the crepe myrtles. They were so beautiful and lovely. I'm like, could you just keep talking for a little bit?
I know. She
Um,
must watch Monty Don.
she's a fun lady. But she told me about these, this butchering of it, and I saw
Yeah,
it for myself, and yeah, it's heartbreaking
yeah,
because
it is.
it's like and I guess for me as a business owner, I'm like, I would be upset because I'm like, well, I paid you to put these in, and now you've essentially killed them. So
Yeah,
I've paid you to put them in, if they had put them in, and then you've also murdered the trees. So
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
crepe murder is a very
Yeah,
severe
right. So
offense.
knowing how to, and they do need to be pruned, they need to be trimmed, but yeah,
Yes,
there's a way to do it.
absolutely. Up,
Uh-huh.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Hmm.
those are the ones you want to kind of trim
Sure.
first, and then
Yeah.
kind of get some of the dead ones, and also
Hmm.
just spraying for any kind of like pests like carpenter ants. Like carpenter ants are almost in everything I see.
Oh.
They just whittle away, they just eat away
Mm.
wood borers, things like that. So just
Hmm.
really treating for those.
Yeah.
I'd also recommend, what I'm recommending to clients is getting those root balls that you can put around it, and you can literally spawn off of that. You can take it after you cut it, and you've already got a root ball where you can replant.
Yeah.
So you're
Free
not
tree.
having free tree. You
Yeah.
can clone off of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so you also do landscaping, you
yes,
say?
ma'am.
That so
Landscaping, tree planting. I always try to convince my client, if we're taking down a tree, I'm
oh,
like, could we plant a red
could we
shumart or a beautiful something right here
yeah,
for
put
you? So you
something
can,
in, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, of course, shade in Texas is worth a lot.
Hey, look, people rag on hackberries a lot, but I've got some big hackberries on my farm, and I'm going to tell you right now, big hackberries that provide a lot of shade.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like,
the critters do love to gather around her.
they do.
Well, to wrap things up, since this is Veterans Day, just your thoughts about Veterans Day and what it means to you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it's thank you for honoring us, and thank you for having it. I think it's there's a lot of different holidays for different gatherings and different events, and I think veterans are a select group of people that should be honored for willing to raise their
Hmm.
right hand and say, I swear to defend my country with my life. And not everyone does that,
Yeah.
and it just takes a special person to do that. Um, so I'm really thankful to that. I always teach my girls about veterans and first responders, anyone willing to put their life on the line and serve their community, in a volunteer capacity or professional. I'm always telling my girls, we were we were singing as I was Aria was going to sleep. We're praying, and then I sing to her a song, and then I was singing the Star Spangled Banner, but I was explaining it to her.
Oh,
You know, And as I
Wonderful
was,
story behind
oh my
Francis Scott
goodness,
Key's
oh my
verses.
goodness,
Yeah.
oh, he's a master.
Yeah.
And as I'm explaining, and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag, and I start crying as I'm
Oh,
telling
yeah.
it, and she's like, "Daddy, why are you crying?" And I'm like, just because we have a great country. We have a beautiful country, honey. You live in one of the greatest nations in the world, and and I want you to honor that and honor anyone who decided to step up and defend and fight it, past or present. And it's obviously very deep and very meaningful for us. And I think just for my guys, for my buddies, for my workers, just everybody, just honoring that, and all the companies that step forward and offer a free meal or a free haircut or anything like that. It's just we live in a world where patriotism, the Maddox family, we live in a world where patriotism is alive and well and still exists in our household. And we salute the flag, and we put our hands over our heart, and we respect the American flag, the Star Spangled Banner. So it's yeah, and I think there's quite a lot of people here in Waco that appreciate that as well. So we're very, very thankful to be in Waco.
Beautifully said. So glad to hear your story,
Thank you.
Rick. And you touched on the acting thing, and you're going to have to come back and tell me about all that. That's a whole nother tale, I understand.
Yeah, I'll get to be my goofier Jim Carrey self, my bottled up Jim Carrey. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we shall do that, and talk to your wife. She's also on my list.
Love
So
it. Love it.
because I just love a British accent. So anyway, thank you so much, Rick. And again, thank you for your service.
Yes, ma'am.
Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
Launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ulike.com. You like.
If you are healthy and eligible to donate blood, you can make a life-saving impact in your community. Join Waco McLennan Public Health at a blood drive for Carter Blood Care on Thursday, November 13th. The drive will be located in the Waco McLennan Public Health parking lot from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and you will receive a blanket with each donation while the supplies last. You can join Animal Birth Control Clinic for their very first Spaghetti and No Balls fundraising dinner at 405 Estates Drive on November 13th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Grab a plate for just $20 and enjoy a night of delicious food, great company, and heartfelt community, all while supporting the ABC's mission to provide essential veterinary care to the pets and families who need it most. There will be silent auctions, chats with ABC team, and a sneak peek of the No Balls Ball 2025. Tickets are available through Eventbrite or at the door the night of the Spaghetti dinner. I'm Elizabeth Riley with Act Locally Waco, and I will see you next time.
And welcome back to the show. It is a joy for me to talk to a veteran. And it's not just any veteran, it's Elmer Speights, who is with Veterans One Stop. He is the Peer Service Supervisor, and you are a retired colonel in the U.S. Army.
Correct.
First of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Obviously.
support, as I always tell people.
Oh, listen, it's a joy to get to talk about what you do at Veterans One Stop, but happy birthday to the Army. I mean, that really is, that's quite a milestone. And I think maybe a lot of people didn't realize we had an Army before we had a country.
Exactly. Had to. Defending the nation from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you do. First of all, what is Veterans One Stop and who is it for?
Okay, Veterans One Stop, and I love it because it's all in the title. It's a one-stop shop for veterans to come in to get any and all services they need. And a lot of people confuse us with the VA, and we have to tell people all the time a VA is a community partner of ours, but we're not part of the VA. And the main difference between us and the VA, at certain points, there's like 5 different levels of discharges. Once you get to the discharges that are less favorable, they stop services. We take all discharges. So if you have a dishonorable, other than honorable, things like those, even some of the ones that send you to prison, we can still find services for those guys, those men and women. So we have counseling services there, anywhere from behavioral to substance abuse, marriage and family counseling. We have, well, we're going to lose one pretty quick, but we'll have case managers. Case managers, that's the entry point for the facility. You'll come in, do a questionnaire, and the case manager will figure out kind of everything you need from the way you answer the questions. One of the biggest support items we have there is the veteran service officers. We call them VSOs, and they help you with claims. And it's claims for new veterans. You want to have something re-looked at for older veterans, spouses, especially if they're widows. If you're
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people don't understand.
exactly
That there is a lot available for that spouse.
exactly, and two the most popular, if they're a widow, new widow, it's called DIC. So you get a portion of the husband's disability if he was 100%. So they get that, and it can be up to $2,400. It's not a lot, but it helps.
Oh yeah.
And then say if you or the spouse become disabled and you need somebody to help them in the home, you can apply for aid and attendance. That's another big one we do, especially as people get older. You can have it pay the service, and the service will come in, do everything from bathing, sitting, everything else you can think
Yeah,
of.
home health.
Home health, it pays for all of it.
That's incredible
or
because
it'll
that's
pay
so
you.
expensive.
Exactly. Or it'll pay you, and you can do the care as you need it.
Oh.
Also, it's you get another, it's almost $3,000 if you're a caregiver. They'll give you classes, teach you everything you need to know, and then they'll pay you to be a caregiver for your family member as well. So a lot of different services, and it goes back to it's a one-stop shop. If we don't have it, we try to keep a number of community partners to get us where we need to go.
So much. There is a lot available. We were chatting earlier about, a lot of the criticisms of the Veterans Administration that we don't take care of our veterans. Would you say that's a valid criticism?
It's not really, but that said, it's a complicated system.
Yeah.
There are a lot of twists and turns. You have to know which form to get and how to fill out that form, and that's where
It is a bureaucracy.
It is, and it's they can give you services, but they don't make it easy sometimes. So that's where we come in handy. Our VSOs and our case managers, they can help you maneuver those systems and help you get to where you need to go. And we're not vain or hooked on ourselves if we can't figure it out. The Veterans Administration, and they have the regional office here. It's a great facility, great team over there. We can call them up and they'll help us through the hard spots because some of the veterans just simply do not want to go over to the regional center. We have a friendlier environment, so they'll come over to us, and that's fine, and we're okay with that.
Yeah, well, first of all, where are you located?
We're located on 2010 LaSalle Avenue, tucked neatly between the Pepsi distributor and the flea market.
Yeah, you had been, I think maybe one of the first places the Veterans One Stop was there on Austin Avenue.
Right.
It was a smaller building, and you just really outgrew it.
Quickly outgrew it. That was in it's been 17 years. So,
Yeah, has
since
it really?
Since it's been over there. So
Yeah.
it's they quickly outgrew that. It's still a perfect building. BHN still owns it, and that's where we do our substance abuse counseling there.
Okay. So it is still part of the family. Well, I want to talk to you about mental illness. I mean, because we hear so much about the horrifying statistics of veterans taking their own lives. Right. They're just not able to cope with life.
Right. And the one stop is shaped around treatment of mental illness. That's why my other title is Military Veterans Peer Network Supervisor. So there are 66 MVPNs around the state, and we all have the same job. We have different levels of service we do for different areas. Ours is a 6-county area from Bosque County all the way over to Freestone County. So 6 counties.
The big area.
Big area, yes, sir. Yes, and we and that's why each one of the MVPNs is attached to a local mental health authority. Ours here is Brayville Health Network. So we have that extra source. That's why we have our counselors in there with us, and we have additional sources with them as far as anybody else that needs with mental health. Veterans, many, I don't think I have any mental health issues. I don't know. They say it comes when you have combat experience. It can come at a later age. Right now, I have no issues, but it's something everybody needs to track. If you're a combat veteran, especially, you need to check that. But a lot of people you'll meet on the streets or some having difficulties. Many of them don't have combat experience. So a lot of them say, well, it's combat related. And a lot of times it's not. It's just the experience of that person, what trauma they associated with, and how it happened, when it happened, and maybe if something earlier in life latched onto that.
Yeah, it could be. And it's unique with every
It is.
individual.
It is. It is. No cookie cutter at all.
Of course, I think of veterans, I think of the ones who are losing, well, almost lost the whole generation. That would be our World War II veterans. Do you have any that are still you come in contact with?
We have quite a few still come in. So we do a Thursday.
Really?
We do a Thursday lunch every Thursday, free lunch for the veterans and family members. If you're non-service connected, it only costs you $3. So we invite people
my
to come in all
goodness.
the time. But we have a few World War II guys still left.
Do you?
We have a handful of Korea guys. It's not as many of them, but we have a handful of Korea veterans in there, and of course our preponderance is Vietnam. So
Yeah,
we like,
that's
and
my generation of
exactly, and we're
folks,
starting
yeah.
to attract the newer generation now too. We had none. We're trying to get Gulf War guys in. We're attracting them, and so we've got to cast the net out to catch as many as we can, and we're getting more women veterans. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that, because I think when you think about mental health and all that, what's the guy with battle fatigue, or what is it? What do they used to call it anyway? But
Your 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
Back then.
yeah,
Shell shock is what
shell
shell shock
yeah,
was World War I.
Yeah,
yes.
shell shock. Yeah, but more and more women veterans are experiencing, and because women and men are wired differently, I believe we're just different creatures. Mental health challenges can present very differently. Or maybe not. I don't know.
It's not. It's people think it is because women in combat it's relatively a new thing still.
Right.
But they were always in combat. There's no such thing as a rear line anymore. You're kind of dropped into a theater of operation, and you have a 24-hour, 360-degree fight most of the time for vets now. So even when you say women would be on supply careers and they had, they were back safe, there's no such thing. The rear lines are always a target. So women have the same issues as men. Even when people think there's a big push for MST or military sexual trauma.
Right, I was going to say, sometimes things can happen, within the confines of their service, as opposed to fighting an enemy without. It's
Exactly,
the
it's
enemy within.
And what the people don't know is we have just as many male victims as we have
I would
female.
imagine.
So it's a problem we just got to fix. Period.
Yeah.
Not just for one sex, for all sex.
Yeah, no question about that. So if you have somebody come in, say brand new, walking in the door, what's the first thing you say? They've got some forms, or
Right. So they'll come in, and if they have an appointment, they'll come in. They'll see the case manager, and the case manager has it's not a complicated form. It's I think it's 2 pages.
Yeah.
But it's very detailed. They give them a chance to sit out and go through it. Sit down with them. The case manager will sit down with them if they wish, answer all the questions, and then they'll have the intake is about an hour and a half once you do an intake, and they'll sit with them and they'll walk through the form all the way, each and every item, and talk about it. And the case manager that's when she opens up your case in the computer. You now become, a client of BHN and the Veterans One Stop. From there, we start getting you what you need. So it may be simple. You may, the first day, you may want to come in and make an appointment with the Veteran Service Officer, or you may take you back to one of the pantries. We have 2 clothing pantries, 3 food lockers. Take you back, get some non-perishables. We have a new freezer, so we got fresh fruit and frozen items you can get. And you can get bread, everything you need to. You can get a meal out of there pretty quickly, and then set you up for appointment for maybe substance abuse or mental health counseling, whatever. We do a lot of PTS counseling
I'm sure.
as well. And we're starting this week. We start a new support group program. It's called Beats. Bring everyone in the zone. Myself and Miss Johnson, she was my battle buddy over there. We both certified in it. So we'll start doing these support groups. And that's a big piece that's missing. And what we like about this particular format, some support groups can kind of meander on a couple of hours. This is about an hour and 15-minute program. It's very structured, and it gets after the trauma. And so it's based on 6 questions per topic. And a lot of times, if you're really doing it well, you'll never get past the second question. So you come back the next time and you get after it. Everybody has choices. You'll sit around and ask the room, and they'll all have a packet and say, okay, you guys vote. Tell me which question or which topic we're going to go after today. It may be anger. It may be fear. Maybe anxiety, maybe something, whatever. And all those topics are covered. And and then the group is together. You keep the groups. You don't want to get over 10, but I think my first group is going to be over 10, but we'll figure
Is it
that
really?
out.
Yeah. Well, there's such a need.
Yeah, it is. And then we'll break them up, and we'll have we will have a women's group. We always have one built already.
Okay, so you're going to have them segregated.
Yeah, and we're
think
trying to
that's
get
wise.
after what people need. That's what Veterans One Stop tries to do. We try to give people choices. So we'll have one group that does a walk in the park. After they do that, we'll have one for, like I say, women. We'll have one for the older veterans, Vietnam. We'll have one for the newer veterans, and we'll have one for justice involved veterans.
Yeah. So you can find your perfect group
Right.
to fit in. For some people, that's the hardest thing, though,
It
is to take that step and maybe become vulnerable with other people. But if they're folks who have a commonality of experience through the military,
And that's the thing. And a lot of veterans, especially the ones who are suffering with severe trauma,
yeah,
they want to talk to somebody with a shared experience.
sure,
And that helps a lot. And then again, and I have a personal belief, sometimes the person who can help you the most is the person who may not have your same experience. It gives you another viewpoint.
I wanted to talk to you about your military service. So you are a retired colonel in
Yes.
the U.S. Army. So did you always know you wanted to go into the military service? How did you get there?
I did not. I was my whole family is military, either married in or served. My father was one of the last of the Buffalo Soldiers in the 92nd
Really?
Division at Fort Huachuca. So
Oh my
and
goodness.
since I'm the baby of 7, everybody kind of wanted something better for me. So I was in college then, and I was like, I'd see the ROTC guys, just no interest. So like, I don't want to do that. But once I graduated, I wanted to go back and get my master's. And I said, well, I don't want to drain my parents. I'll do a couple of years in the military.
Yeah,
get
and
my
let
GI Bill,
Uncle Sam pay
and
for
let
it.
Uncle Sam pay for it. He's paid for everything else. So that was great. Got in it and fell in love. So
Really?
I enlisted in for the first 5 years, and fell in love with it.
And where were you?
At the time, so I started out at Fort Hood, actually.
Oh,
It was
really?
my first duty station, and I left there and went to Germany, to Stuttgart. And from there, leadership thought I'd be a good match for officer candidate school. So we put in
Well,
the
you
packet.
had your college degree.
Had
so
my
there you
degree
go.
already, yeah, which a lot of guys don't when they go, and they'll have to finish up before they
Which they
get the
can.
third year.
Which
They can.
is, yeah, a beauty of it. Yeah.
Yep. So I went there, did well, graduated, came out as an armor officer, and
So what does that mean?
most people know M1 tanks at Fort Hood, the big
Uh-huh,
guns. So,
the big guns,
So
yeah.
I came back to Fort Hood. I was there as enlisted first, and I came back as an officer, as a tank company commander eventually. So that was a lot of fun.
So if somebody's interested in maybe doing a banner
Right. They can drop by the One Stop again at 2010 LaSalle. They can stop by and we'll have a stack of them at the desk. They can come in and pick them up. Or if they happen to see me or one of the other members out, we do outreach all the time. You'll see a table. I try to advertise. We have Veterans One Stop plaster or everything. I'll always have a stack there as well. And I try to keep them in my truck. So if you see me on the street with my Veterans One Stop shirt, stop me. I probably run back to the truck and get you one as well.
Okay, good. And then those banners are going to go up Veterans Day weekend.
Probably a couple of days before Veterans Day, we'll get them in and they'll go up. And if nothing else, you can stroll down the street. If you know you have a relative out there, please go down, take pictures next
Take
to
pictures,
it.
yeah.
It's great. We'll be doing the same thing. I got one for my father-in-law last year. He passed away just after it came in, so he did get a chance to see
saw it?
He got a chance to see it, so it was great. It's a memory thing for us as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Elmer. All the work that you're doing for our veterans and certainly for your service to our nation.
Yeah.
Again, I thank you and appreciate everything. And so folks can get to Veterans One Stop. It's right there on LaSalle.
Right.
Do you have like a website or
We
something?
do have a website, and matter of fact, there's a link on there. You can click on it and send me a message. It comes directly to me. If you have a question just about the times, or if you have a specific need, lay it out in there, and I respond to all of them within about 24 hours. As soon as they pop up, I've got one on my phone now. I've got to answer. I'll answer up, and I'll tell you when and where you can come into. Or if it's not us, I'll tell you which community partner can help you out.
And new support groups starting up and
Right,
a
they'll
lot of
start.
things happening
Exactly.
available there for our veterans.
Exactly. Come by on Thursday, have lunch, and then see what we're all about. If you want to, we'll give you a tour of the building and talk through. So it's everybody there. They're there primarily for a reason to give back to the community that did so much for us. So that's the main reason why I'm there. I want to give back to the community that I love.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much. Thanks, Elmer. And stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
In the United States, November 11th is recognized as Veterans Day. What is Veterans Day? Why is it celebrated on November 11th? In the early morning hours of November 11th, 1918, the Allied powers, which included France, Great Britain, the United States, and many others, agreed with Germany to end the fighting during World War I. Later that day, an official armistice or ceasefire was signed. In fact, the armistice was signed in Paris at 11 a.m. on November 11th of 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. This date was almost instantly recognized as being an important one. The following year, in 1919, many nations declared November 11th a national holiday. The day became known as Armistice Day and honored those who had died during the war. Many nations still honor Armistice Day, and the focus is placed on soldiers who have lost their lives, similar to the American holiday of Memorial Day. There are several different traditions associated with Armistice Day. For example, some nations still observe a moment of silence, usually for 2 minutes, at 11 o'clock in the morning. The first minute is said to honor the millions who died during World War I. The second minute is for the living who were also affected by the war, including wives, parents, and children. There are also significant ceremonies which take place in South Africa and Australia, as both nations were profoundly impacted by World War I. In South Africa, they observe the moment in darkness as well as silence. In Australia, instead of 11 o'clock a.m., they observe their moment of silence at 9 o'clock p.m. This is because at 9 o'clock p.m. in Australia, it is 11 o'clock a.m. in Paris. In other nations, the nature and focus of the holiday changed after the conclusion of World War II. At that point, Great Britain began referring to the day as Remembrance Day. In America, the holiday became Veterans Day. However, in the United States, Veterans Day has grown to recognize all of those who have served their country, whether living or dead, and even honors those still serving. A World War II veteran Raymond Weeks, was the veterans on this day. He approached Dwight Eisenhower with the idea, and it was eventually presented as a bill before Congress. Veterans Day was recognized as an official holiday on May 26, 1954. Today, Raymond Weeks is remembered by some as the father of Veterans Day. At first, Veterans Day continued to be celebrated on November 11th. However, in 1971, it was briefly moved to the fourth Monday in October. It remained on that day until 1978, when it was returned to the November 11th date. Today, Veterans Day is recognized across the United States and is observed on the 11th of November each year. Americans all over the country join with many others around the world to honor those who have served in the military.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.